what you see. Make sure to hit the button down to stay updated on when I am up. I have no idea what else to say now, so I just end off this. Welcome to AmberAnkNA, and this is my channel.
Hello. I know. The only way now, chapter 15 is to be done right now, I know. You probably read the title, I know. I'm sorry. This takes place at the same time as chapter 14, basically. But it's in Rachel's point of view. So I had to. I had to do it. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I couldn't help myself, okay? Just know that. But, anyways, started. She chose them. In the beginning, Rachel wandered around without much destination in mind. She covered the length and width of what remained of Acacia Bay, watching each day, yet only finding a handful of survivors. As they dug themselves out of the wreckage the storm left in its wake. Every evening, she watched as the sun went down while she sat on the bench at the lighthouse, like a sediment washing over the bay. Anyway, she headed north along the winding little highway that took her past Canyon Beach, Australia, and into the Washington state. The traveling gave her time to think about her life, the decisions that she had made, and a correct decision. And while time to her didn't really matter anymore, it did take time to figure out her place. Well, she belonged. She chuckled. Of course this is where I end up. Hell yeah, it is. The state of affairs didn't bother her. In fact, she didn't even poke fun at herself about it. At the end, she made a choice. The choice. And now, as back then, she remained convinced it was worth it. All she had to do was see how much Max and Corey had grown together since that day she see the truth in it. The joy, love, comfort, and healing that they give each other was almost too incredible to describe. They were a mass set that not even the universe could deny. They are simple hella awesome together. She watched over them both. She witnessed Max overcome her self-doubts and fears, flattered by the knowledge that the cycle was finally broken. She watched as the brunette pushed to get her GTD and prepared for the future with her love. And Chloe? Oh, Chloe. Please be okay. Rachel lamented for her friend as she suffered and yet refused to moan. She watched as the gold bottled up all her emotion and lost most of her will to continue, but did so for the good of her soulmate alone. The punk was an empty, aimless shell of her former self, and while she couldn't physically comfort the boot-heeled girl not anymore, she resolved to stay beside her and feel in any pain, just as Max did. Perhaps in some way, small way, maybe, her presence could provide a small flame to keep her sickened friend moving forward each day. Occasionally, the little Chloe would peek out and look around, but like a thrilled bunny, would quickly seek the rescue of her home, her Max, all too soon. It broke Rachel's heart. Yet, like a scenery, she stood guard by her friend and will continue to do so, no matter how long it might take. Time continued its march as it always did, and wherever the pair went, like a raft, Rachel silently followed, only separating to give the two the privacy they needed, and yet she was never far. Christmas Eve, dinner time. The table was set, the candle lit. It was a beautiful scene that Rachel observed. She didn't know what Max had in mind, but it clearly was something special. She watched as Max poured the wine and likely giggled to herself as the brunette made a bit of a mess of it. First time at wine? Huh, Max? She giggled and swallowed the photograph to the other side of the room. She looked on as the brunette rearranged her photo wall, determining what to write the new additions, as he started to get an idea regarding the reasoning behind ethics. As the main lights dimmed a few moments later, she noted how the candlelight spread its beams. It was classy and elegant. I really hope this works for Chloe. We were ghosted to be behind a chair, one with a familiar federal white costume as our two friends entered the room. The brunette leading the tall girl to her seat. She waited until they were seated and then joined them. The punk, she observed, was having problems keeping it together and fiddled with her dinner without much success. As she saw his Max consoled her love with consideration and caring words, Rachel got up from her place and quietly moved to Chloe's side, opposite Max, and kneeled next to her. You're right, you know. You're right, you know. You said we was. You're right, you know. You said you wish we had admit that we would be great friends. Yeah. And we did meet. We became friends. As his words brought joy to her heart. She only known the fucking girl for a few days, but they had quickly become friends. Hella best friends. Rachel smiled at the thought, but then returned her attention to her troubled friend as she broke down at last. That's it, Chloe. Just let it out. We both here for you. She wrapped her arms protectively around both girls and leaned her head on the taller girl's shoulder and simply held them while Chloe's sorrow filled the room. She wished she could take the pain, but her friend had to take the first step, the hardest one. She moved closer and ever so quietly whispered, gently pressing her lips against the broken gold ears. It's okay, Chloe. You need to let me. It's okay, Chloe. You need to let me go. She leaned her head back to the girl's shoulder. Amy, with her grief spent, the room grew quiet. Why? Why did it have to be her? Why Rachel? The startled girl looked to Matt, seeking some answer as to why the universe was so cruel. Silence followed once again as he remained wrapped around both girls. Because I chose. She thought of his freckled friend, slowly moved to reposition herself. She smiled as Max kissed her soulmate's blue head and then answered. Because he's our angel. Rachel chose us. She chose to give us our chance. She will always have a special place in our hearts. Special place in our hearts. It shouldn't have been possible, yet a tear rolled down her pale cheek, one overfilled with happiness rather than sorrow. She felt the stirring love flowing from Mass and did everything she could urge to add her own. They stayed this way while the healing currents wrapped Chloe in warmth and comfort by bearing her despondent friends through devastated her. Slowly, she released her protective embrace and stood up, stepping back as the two other girls did the same. She followed as the brunette led her love to the other side of the room and turned up the lights. Rachel stayed near her melting friends as she admired the collection of photographs, giving particular attention to one featuring the three friends together. She watched on as her blue-haired beauty slowly released her charming and received her necklace. Thanks, Lace. She listened to Chloe's voice, was sad yet stronger, as if the hearing had taken a life of its own. Another impossible tear fell as the object which had defined her late life was briefly kissed and then lovingly carried and set in its final resting place. As Chloe stepped back and wrapped her arms around her soulmate, Rachel wept and ran her fingers down its length for the last time, and it fluttered gently, as if by the winds, and then came to rest next to the pistol where it belonged. She was reminded of the fun, positive excitement and friendship she had had with first Chloe and then briefly with Mass. Thank you, Mass, she said at the same time as Chloe. Then watched as the two remained quiet in respectful contentment. Her heart stirred this wafting pair. They are so meant for each other. They got this, she smiled. When they finally returned together, Rachel took her place as the two girls' eyes looked at her. Yes, it had been worth it. Hella worth it, she mused as she thought about the future. What awesome things would they do? Who would they meet? She knew in her heart they taught her the world. It made her content and freed her to move on. After all, they were Max and Chloe, and they would be together always. As they sat down to continue the meal, they resolved to keep an eye open for them. Who knew? Maybe one day they'll pass for squats. She bounced lightly on the balls of her feet. All got new adventures ahead of us. I'm so excited. As she slowly faded into the background, she striped her hair over her shoulder and gave them both an accurate bow. With a quick wink, she bid them farewell. For now. Laters. And that's the chapter. Ditto. That's the Weasel point of view.